It's like built into my. But it was pretty nice that this had,
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just for the record, Tom, you can hear us? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We certainly can see you. A public notification of meeting has been published, posted, and distributed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. As you've all received copies of the agenda. Any question on today's agenda, comments, additions? None, I'll accept a motion to approve the agenda as published.
So moved.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same story with the minutes. You all received copies of the minutes. Any corrections, changes, or additions? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes as published. Chris, Brian, a second.
Aye.
Any opposed? have a 3-minute public comment period. Any public would like to report, now is the time. None? We will continue to John.
Getting faster and faster at moving through that first part of the agenda, Howard. I'll start paying some people to show up or something.
And just, I'm sorry, just for the record, we have Tom Sheehan is online. Anybody else online that we don't know about?
Nick is up, yeah.
Sorry.
Where is it? I just killed you. It's gone. I know it was there, and then I had this message, and I got rid of it. Let's see. There it is. Tom's huge face distracts me. It's a
Not funny.
disconcerting, you know?
Not funny.
It's like those signs people hold at the basketball games with the enormous heads.
Not funny.
No, that's what happened last time. It kicked me out.
Just hit close.
Ready to watch. See?
Tom, I have to tell you, if you're listening, your face is full screen in front of all of us, as well as the big screens in the meeting room here.
Think.
Sign in or create an account. Are you kidding me?
Just,
What if we say we have a product key? Say we do.
I have an account, you want me to sign with my town of Beaufort account?
Anybody have a product key? Here we go.
I don't know if it's gonna let us do the presentation. We can kind of fake it from here. Let's see. All right, well, in the interest of time, we'll just keep it this way. It's not gonna let me do this slides. Well, maybe it will. Let me see. Yeah, it might.
breathe.
That's okay. Our vice chair is from TSA, so.
That's why I'm calling him.
Oh, that's funny. I can see it on mine.
Click enable external content.
I don't even have that on mine. Unless,
Not seeing that screen?
not on this, no. That's not on my screen. So I need to op check.
Yeah.
There'll be a brief recess while we correct a technical problem.
Going to go to another agenda item, Howard, and
I afford wherever I was going.
keep the clock moving.
And he comes back
Howard,
and he reads me.
you want to go to another agenda item like chairman?
I'm not sure, it's still public meeting, so I think we need to public.
Apparently we're not authorized or something. I've just been doing it for 10 years, but.
So then,
An error message popped up there, but it's not through here.
once again, director's report.
All right, we'll try this from here. All right. So most of you were in this picture. Oh, that's convenient. We're actually covering Tom up with Tom.
He planned it that way.
Kind of works out. You're a little shorter in this one, Tom, but that's okay. We can have some fun with that. Okay, so thanks for everybody being at that groundbreaking. You'll see this. We'll talk about this in a minute. First, staff update. I think I mentioned Spencer last time, but we got a photo of him coming around this time. So Spencer's our newest employee up at Beaufort Executive, and he's been doing a great job and working independently and everything. So we do have one spot open up there. So we're continuously, building that team and bringing in hopefully some more new blood like Spencer. He's been great. And then Alex over at Hilton Head, actually kind of working maintenance at both airports. He's teamed up with Rob and has really hit the ground running on the maintenance team. So he and Rob have been a pretty good team going after things and fixing things around the airport. So glad to have the two of them on board. It's been a busy, really, couple of months. Obviously, we did the groundbreaking last Thursday. That was a great event. The weather was a lot better than it is this Thursday, so it's a good thing we did it. I think, it came off real well. We had lots of people who showed up. I think Rocio said that she somehow, by the grace of God, printed double the amount of programs she thought she was going to need, and we needed them all. So that was great. We had a lot of people there. So it was a good event. And then, of course, a couple of events before that, we had the Concours there for the Friday and Saturday, and then up at Beaufort Executive had the Flying Frog 5K the week prior to that, and then the week prior to that we had TSA pre-check. So this all kind of goes in reverse order. But again, the TSA pre-check was, I think we had 551 people come through in the 5 days. So they stay really busy. They cycle them through, and there's a lot of demand for more. So we're actually going to schedule some more events at both airports. Just a few more pictures of the groundbreaking. Again, a great time. We got some great media coverage from that as well, not just from the TV networks and that, but social media. And if you use LinkedIn, which my children make fun of me for using, because they think it's the old person's Facebook, and it kind of is, but it's a business one. But it's been going all over LinkedIn as well, so we've gotten a lot of mileage out of that. And the town, the chamber, the airport, the county, everybody has shared that through social media, so we've gotten a lot of repeats. So good stuff. Mark, I don't know how you got in two of these three pictures, but
It was the yellow.
could have been. Yeah.
It was the ambassadorship, yes.
Yep, good job. Brief and to the point. Yeah, the quick ceremony is good. All right, and then the Concours. As you know, we do have the Porsche runs down the taxiway. This is a picture of one of the two cars that was out there. Actually, 4 cars. They ran 2 at a time. Those were all electric vehicles, which was pretty wild. They were really fast, and they started up really fast. So we had a good time. I don't know, what was the highest speed that we got? Somebody said we were 164? 161? Yeah, I think the one Alex rode in, he was right towards the end, and I think he was up, I think I had 150, and they were at like 160, 161. So that's pretty quick when you're going down the taxiway, using not really the full one, because we stopped it, or I guess on the backside is where we hit 150, so we did use a full length there. But great drivers. Everybody had an awesome time. After I did the ride, I stood by the gate and watched people as they were coming in, and then as they got out of the vehicles. And several husband and wife couples got out of the vehicle, and the wife looked at the husband and said, "We need to buy one of these." And most time it looked like the wife enjoyed it more than the husband. So there's some ladies who like to go fast in these cars, so it was pretty cool. But great event. Weather was nice. It was cool that night, but it was a perfect evening. So no complaints there. And again, just shout out to our folks who help us out from Savannah Airport. 2 of their ops guys come up and help us out. They bring up their lighted X's for us to use to close the runway. And that is so much easier than laying out those fabric X's. So they get a chance to ride in the car. We feed them at the ARF, and it's a great thing to do. So good relationship, and we pick their brains on op stuff too while we have them. So definitely a good event. Flying Frog, you can see our frog running down the apron there. Another good event. We had, again, great weather for this one too. I mean, you see that little layer of morning fog there behind our frog, Marlene. And she did run. She got out of that outfit and ran for real. And she won her age group too, which is great. And she actually ran. We sponsored the Tunnel to the Towers race this past weekend over at Rose Hill. And Marlene won that as well and had her personal best. So when you see Marlene, give her a high five because she's doing good stuff. So good race. We had a lot of fun with that. And then it rolled right into the Touch a Truck event with Junior Service League of Beaufort. And I think, what did they tell us they had attendance-wise?
Over 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, they had a ton of people there, so really good. And we're looking at just building on that next year, try to pull some of the Touch a Truck people into the race. So anyway, good events there and a good way to open up the airport to folks. I talked about the TSA pre-check again, very, very popular. This was the team that was at Hilton Head. And like I said, 551 people through the doors Monday to Friday. So we got a couple events lined up for Beaufort Executive, and then we'll work some in for Hilton Head as well. It's amazing how many people are getting pre-check. I'm going to stay non-pre-check because it's going to be faster here pretty soon. There's going to be more people in pre-check than non-pre-check. So stay tuned. We'll update you as we have more dates. Parking lot up at Beaufort Executive was a good little project. We teamed up with APAC, who's doing the airport frontage road just across 21 from the airport and the packing shed. Unrelated project, but we're storing some material for them on the airport. They needed some laydown area. So we traded them some laydown area for part of a parking lot this was a part that was really bad with tree roots. And then a couple of places where we actually had some trees removed and needed to be cleaned up. So we'll end up gaining probably maybe 4-ish parking spots out of that when it's all said and done, maybe 5. 10 total? Really? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, with all this, redone or remarked, that'll be a nice change. So, just a good way to trade things with the contractor and get a win-win. So, good improvement out there. And Eric wanted to make sure we put this up here. And this is what it looks like at ARW in the fall, guys. Almost every day it is looking like this. It is wingtip to wingtip with turboprops. And this is taken, I think you were staying on the fuel truck, right, when you took this photo? Yeah, that's Jimmy Buffett's plane there. You see the JB tail number, but it was being sold and it was on its way back down to Orlando for delivery. But that's pretty neat because his pilot was in the terminal too, and we had kept asking him for stories, but he wouldn't talk. So. But a pretty nice airplane, and got a lot of attention when it was there, so it's cool. But that was just one day among many that this ramp has filled up. So, and Steve and Eric said this morning it was no different. So it's a good time of year, and definitely pumping a lot of jet fuel. And then finally, Paul Jernigan, who we just celebrated a few months ago as our employee of the meeting, finally decided to hang it up, and he's been there for a long time, 15 years, and so Paul's going to take it easy. We're trying to convince him to come back just to mow because he really liked spending time on the mower out there, so we might be able to get him, hence the theme of his going away kick there with the John Deere tractor on there. So Paul's done great, so if you see him around, he's still selling real estate up in Beaufort too, so if you see Paul, just thank him. Just remember back to 2020 when Joel left, and it took us a while to backfill his position. Paul is the one who ran that airport for probably about 8 or 9 months, and he kept us going because he knew how everything worked, and if it weren't for Paul, we would have had some serious issues. So if you run into Paul, just slap him on the back, and he's about the most humble guy that I know. He doesn't really enjoy that, but he needs it anyway. So good stuff there with Paul. All right, I want to give just kind of a communications update. Maybe we'll try to do this as a standard slide just to let you know what's going on in between meetings. It is very, very busy. Most of these media events are things that I'm getting called about to go do an interview, to do a show, whatever it may be. Then a bunch of social media work here. Also get invited to talk to groups like junior leadership. I'll be speaking to senior leadership in December. Was going to do Beaufort leadership as well. So all these different events want to hear about the airport. They want to hear about careers in aviation and opportunities here. So, you know, I go out and do those events. So it's usually 2 to 3 a month, speaking events, interviews, things like that we're doing. So a lot of communications going out from the airport and a lot of social media coverage with what's been going on with projects and things as well. So that's good. And then the final bullet on there, just want to tell you for the first, well, I guess not the first time, both airports applied for state ATAX this year. We applied for ATAX through the town of Hilton Head Island. That's a different one. That's basically local ATAX. But the state is a different category. It's still administered through the county. But we put an application in, kind of a joint application. So one application, but covering both airports. So hopefully they'll like, maybe if they like one better than the other, they'll have to take it as a package deal. But we were encouraged to apply, that it is certainly, you know, authorized to use those funds at the airport because we're tourism infrastructure. This year's funds are being earmarked, if we do receive them, earmarked for advertising and marketing. ARW doesn't have a formal plan for marketing right now, but that was some of the impetus for applying for this. We need to do that and then start a cooperative plan with some of the groups in the Beaufort area, primarily the CVB, the Convention Visitor Bureau, just to coordinate some of that cooperative marketing. Because there's folks who come to the area who probably don't even know the airport's there, and these are people who would fly in and probably do fly into a different airport and then drive to Beaufort to conduct their business, to do, you know, whatever they're there for. And so we're going to go after some of those folks. So anyhow, just want to let you know that we had another opportunity to get up in front of a crowd and talk about, you know, what we do at the airports and why they're so important to the county. The spiel on this side of the river is, again, primarily a leakage reduction, you know, because so many of our market, or so much of our market share gets leaked primarily to Georgia and then some to other airports within the state. And the ones outside the state those are certainly the ones we like to get back, those numbers back into the state. So at the very least, we get state sales tax revenue from them. But at the best, they come back to Hilton Head Island and we receive all the revenue locally. That'd be the best scenario. So we call it repatriation revenues, and you'll hear me say that over and over again. But that's what we would use that money for here at Hilton Head. So I think that's all we've got. Went through that kind of fast, so I'll let you ask questions. And hang on, let me see if I can move this dialogue box, because
First, I'd like to say thank you to John, Steve, and Eric, and
oh, good. Excellent. Good. Yeah, we've shot several of them over the years. I don't know which ones are running at any given time. And then we do an annual one with WHHI for their Christmas shopping segment that they do. So I don't know when everything airs, but I've done a ton of them. So hopefully you'll see some of them at some point. So yeah, we're doing our best to make sure that we're out there talking about the airports and letting people know that it's although we are, you know, primarily a tourism airport, a lot of locals who use it too. So we want to make sure that people know, especially this time of year, this is when it's really convenient for the locals. You know, you get great parking and you get, you know, easy options with the airlines. So definitely a good time.
There, on the air, when do you start talking to the airlines about for the next season? Is that already?
Oh, yeah, it happens year round.
Okay. Or has anyone else reached out, like a JetBlue or anybody, about, you know, coming as well? Or has it still just been the main three that we've been?
We do work with our air service development consultant to look at some other airlines and see who may be interested. So we do always have some lines in the water with other than the three that we have. So I'll certainly, if one hits, I'll let you know.
Okay.
John, a few months ago, you talked about a new system. Traffic counts, I believe it was, that you would progress on that, anything to report?
Yeah, did we get that in the package, Dan's information? We may not. We'll get it sent to you. Dan he's kind of our manager of that software at HXD. And it's really interesting because it shows you not only, what the operations are, but it actually break it down by aircraft type and time of day and everything. So we'll get that report out to you, but it shows a lot of detailed information about what's coming and going. And with that software, we know who's parked at the airport. We know who's flying if you're moving, not moving, turned on, turned off, we know where you are. So if you come to our airport, we can see you. So don't try to skip fees because we'll turn your tail number over to Ben and we'll.
Have you made a commitment to purchase this yet, or is that still too early in the game to?
We're coming up on we had a 90-day trial, so we're coming up on it. I think right now we're pretty happy with it, so we'll see what kind of packages they can offer. But it's great. I mean, we literally can see every airplane.
And we're using ARW as well, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and that's really helpful for after hours counts. So, because a lot of times you get folks who come in and maybe they owe us a landing fee. They'll come in and leave before staff gets there, and we can just get in touch with them via their tail number because we know they were there and send them an invoice. It has worked, the after hours thing has worked at Hilton Head. I might have told you this story, but a couple of months ago, there were some, probably, I think they were Marine Corps Ospreys, the MV-22s working out at the airport. And they only did a couple of operations, but it was right around midnight, and it was a Saturday night, I think. And so I had a noise complaint call from somebody who I've gotten to know pretty well over the years. We're on a first name basis. She's not usually happy, but I was able to call this woman back after I researched through the software by running a report about the after hours during the time frame that she had left the complaint. And I was able to call her back and say, you're correct. It was indeed, some military aircraft, and here's what they did, 2 or 3 operations. And, we're an open airport. We have to have military operations. And so that's what it is. And, that kind of being able to give feedback and information to people at least lets them feel like they're being listened to and that their problems being addressed. So to the extent that we can do that, this software definitely helps.
I was looking at some of the fuel reports that over the gas over at ARW had a really significant decline. Timing issue. Anybody with any ideas of what's happening over there? Oh, Jet A was actually up substantially. Feedback, any idea?
I didn't see any difference. I was in and out in October quite a bit. I mean, Eric would know. I mean, how did it? I didn't see any. I didn't notice anything because it looked. It looks like the flow, though, if you do the average on the flow, because I just counted the numbers earlier, we're almost identical to 2022 per average per month. It's about 1,000 gallons per month for 2023, and it's almost identical for 2022 as well. If it's simple math, I'm really good at it.
I tell you, it's very exciting to see the picture that John put up of the ramp.
Yeah.
We used. You would investigate. Probably
Never
not have
see
a
that.
picture like that available. So that's really exciting to see what's going on there. Questions for John?
All right. I'll stay here.
Right into unfinished business. First, I'd like to thank board members who volunteered their time. Right about the Leo problem. thank you for doing that. We need to get more involved and do that on a regular basis. Request, I think we can help out.
And I got a response on my email, since I couldn't be there in person. I did get a response back. I don't know if
Yes,
everybody did, but I assume they did.
County responded
Yeah.
to everybody who they took the time. Any other unfinished business, John, that you have?
And we've got the legal services on there as an item, and that is unfinished. It remains unfinished. I don't have a date as to when that may go back in front of council. It was going to be this month, but it's been pushed again. All I can tell you is that we're still working on that, and there's not a resolution in sight at this point, so we continue to work on it.
Maintain their presence at the airport until there is.
Well, I would say that they have to, but I guess nobody has to do anything. But in order for us to stay open as an airport, yes, they need to stay. And, originally when they reached out to us in June, that, and the notification was we are leaving, not hey, we'd like to talk to you about some options, but we think we're going to leave. It was we are leaving message. So there was very little, how do I put it? We wanted to have a discussion about how we could maintain them there for all the reasons of why we love their service and why the customers love seeing the deputies there. So we did have thought we were moving towards a solution that might maintain the deputies there, but it looks like that's probably not going to happen, just based on some email feedback we've gotten. So we're going to have to put together a different kind of solution. We weren't sure exactly what that scope of services was going to be. Now I think we're a little bit more clear on that just within the last couple of weeks. And so the problem with that is that takes a long time to put that into play, because if we advertise for that, it's a minimum of 30 days just, to get responses to an advertisement. And then for something like this, you've got to interview. You don't just take the lowest price outfit that comes at you. So you got to interview and then potentially do another round of proposals, depending on how interviews go. And then once you select a firm, that's got to be approved by county council because of the dollar amount. And then once county council approves and that firm gets a contract, that firm now needs to go hire people.
Trained people.
Hiring is an interesting thing in today's world. And once you hire them, then you have to train them, and they have to send them to the state to get certified, because they have to be able to carry a firearm and have arrest authority. So we're looking at a minimum of, I would say, 9 months to a year to get that in place. You just can't do something like this quickly. So I may come back to you, and I'm not telling you to do anything now, but I might need your help if we have to encourage, the current operators to be able to stay in the airport. Because if they don't, then commercial service stops. So that'd be pretty enormous.
Just a here now. I don't understand.
Yeah, and again, I don't know the full reason behind what's going on, so I don't want to speculate on that, but I can tell you that we're working on some alternate ways to solve the problem.
Comment on the question. My viewpoint is that this is an inherently governmental issue, policing. And I don't see how you can wake up one morning and decide you're not going to do your job. But that's my comment. My question is, market surveys. I know that you've had discussion with one firm. Have we discussed this issue with other private firms to see if there's anybody that's even remotely capable and interested?
Well, I know there's at least one other local firm that's capable of doing it. So we would anticipate having at least 2 responses to an opportunity. But then there are other ones in the region who are, not local, but in the region that hopefully we get some responses from as well. So I know that the organizations do exist.
John, you're resigned to the fact that perhaps this is finding an alternate solution at this point, not maintaining the presence that we currently have.
That's, as the tea leaves spell it out now, that's what I read. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's still work to be done, but it looks like that's the way it goes.
Pointing at the county level, if they would not step in and take a look at this as a county opportunity to provide.
Well, they are.
All right, we'll see
Trust me,
where-
they are. You got different elected officials working on different things, so that's interesting too.
Wait.
We'll do the best we can, and we'll make sure that the service is provided for. And I don't think that we're going to get to the point where we don't have coverage. I mean, I think that the sheriff's office understands what it would mean, so they certainly don't take that lightly.
John, while he's there. Thank you very much.
All right.
On to our action items, again in the packet, we have the airport director's office. Items that need to be addressed. John, perhaps you could go ahead and start off with number one.
All right, let's see. Well, you really take 1 and 2. They're the exact same thing, just different names on as we take them together. This is for a lease agreement. Both of the individuals here, Matt Archer and Cindy Holman, are both FAA examiners, and they currently will do their work in the conference room at ARW, but when they do, it occupies the entire room and no one else can use it. So the idea is if we get them on a parallel track, we're looking at operating agreements with the both of them, so they would end up kind of paying their way. Since they are a commercial operation working in the airport, they do need to have an agreement. So once we get that agreement set up, then the idea is also to build them some space within the conference room. They don't need much. They just want enough space to have a desk to sit and do their exam, and it's just one-on-one, 2 people. So they both have indicated that the space that we talked about would work. So both of these are those leases that provide that space.
So is the idea that they would share the same space, or they're going to have a separate space of their own?
No, there would be 2 spaces. Yep. The IT's tell me if you're answering, make sure the red light on your microphone is on, so I don't know if there's a button you have to push.
They've all been off.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have a red button on.
You didn't have a red button?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, leave it off.
All that wisdom, Chris, now, nobody heard it.
I know, everybody pissed out, but stay tuned for next month.
All right, so these are leases, so these do go all the way to council for 3 readings because they're ordinances. So it'll go first to Public Facilities Committee and on to council.
We have enough room for 2 separate office spaces out there?
Phone booths, but office.
Yeah.
I would say, we're about running out of room with all the, which is a good thing.
There's a little construction involved in the back.
Either construction, or we're not yet sure if we're going to do, permanent construction, or kind of like the modular walls to divide up. Kind of leaning towards modular walls because you have a little more flexibility.
Sure.
That's right. They're okay being kneecap to kneecap.
All right, having heard the description, we need 2 motions, so I'll accept a motion to approve the lease agreement, 39 Circle between Beaufort County and Matt Archer. Was it Rich? And,
Second.
Chris the second? Yeah? Uh-oh. My apologies. I turned that on.
Ominous.
I apologize. All in favor of the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. I'll accept a motion to approve the lease agreement at 39 Airport Circle between Beaufort County and Cindy Holman. Brian, Ann is the second. Any discussion? No, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes as well. So, back to you.
All right, again, 2 very similar items, 1 for each airport. As you know, each year we come to you with our capital improvements project plan that we submit to the FAA. That's a 5-year outlook for projects. and it gives the FAA something that they can look at when they're trying to determine funding levels across the region. And so that's what these two are. The first one is for Hilton Head Island Airport, and then the second one's for Beaufort Executive. And these will go forward to council, probably just to committee. I don't know if full council will see them or not, but they'll go as just information items because they're not necessarily something council needs to approve because we're not actually spending money. It's just sending a plan to the FAA.
John, you submitted with the package, some of the detail of each of the items. Could you just run through some of that brief?
I would if I had it in front of me.
Oh,
Ask me a question, I'll try to answer. I don't have it in front of me.
anybody have any questions about the material that was submitted by the office? Okay, good. We'll pass that up. I'll accept a motion to approve the Airport Capital Improvement Program. The Capital Airport Improvement Program list that was submitted with the package that you should all have with you. Motion maker, Rich. Second, Mark. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. And as before, this is a similar motion. I'll accept the motion to approve the Airport Capital Improvement Program for the second list, which was for ARW. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes as well.
Did we get a motion and a second on that one?
We get a second? Yes.
I'll right to the vote on that
You went
one.
right to vote, and we didn't motion or second it.
Back up and let's do ARW one
My
more time.
apologies. I'll accept the motion to approve the Airport Capital Improvement Program for ARW. David?
I'll second.
Bruce, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I guess David was sitting on the edge of his seat, so I had to give him the shot. You know?
Motion passes.
There's no discussion.
Any discussion?
Just teasing.
Too late, you already said yes.
We have a time constraint today. Yes, we do have a time constraint on today's meeting.
And happy Thanksgiving, by the way.
Thank you very much. Nice job, John, as usual. Tim's
Give
update,
Rocio all the credit for the slides. He put the slides together, so.
very nice job.
There's
Thank you
Big
for the
Tom
effort.
again.
This time, you can't imagine what you're looking like on the screen. Why are we picking on Tom and not the others? We got Nick hanging in there. All right, Chairman's update. I did say thank you to everybody who participated in the email writing effort and the TSA involvement. I hope more of us will get involved as the opportunity presents themselves. And so with that, we'll move into committee reports. And Mark, maybe you can give us a quick update on the TSA since you were there.
Sure. TSA event was a big success another day. I was there. We processed 117 people in, 6 hours or so, 7 hours. Actually, I think it was close to 8 hours, but anyway, 170 people, and it was pretty busy for the most part. This is, I think, our third one that we've done in the county, and the public that came in was very interested in this. So I think, the concept that you mentioned of doing this again will probably be very well received. The contractor that comes in and does it, the people were great and all, but and well organized and it went smoothly and all, but they sometimes they do it without our help, and it works a whole lot better when we're there because we help sign people in, direct them, control the flow and things like that, and that allows them to process the people and get people out in 5 minutes instead of 15 minutes. They greatly appreciate our help. So if we have more opportunities, hopefully we can continue to step up and help.
Well, I stopped by on a Thursday afternoon. They were still pretty busy with a steady flow, which was nice. Everybody was sitting there waiting for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and the two folks they had, they were superb. They cranked the people through. And when I stopped by when Mark was there on Friday morning, I asked him to do a quick informal survey on where the people were getting the information about the event. And you collected a little brief information. So
Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of folks from Nextdoor app and also from the county's Facebook page, I believe it is where they got the information from. So, we had talked about making sure we had it out in the popular media and, and radio, television type stuff. And that didn't seem to matter. And then word of mouth was the next one, because, some folks said, yes, my husband here yesterday, going to send my son or daughter over tomorrow, that type of thing. So, word of mouth was right up there.
I know they were on track to do about 700 or 800 folks. I don't know what the final number wound up to be, but there's a good number of people. that
17
showed up.
tabs there, yeah.
Excellent.
Mark, I have a question. With TSA, you have to renew your TSA paycheck
right.
6 months
Right.
before it expires.
Right.
That's the rule. I had a lot of people ask me, can I go over and do that? They would, if
You
anybody was.
can do that there. I'm not sure why you'd want to, because you can do it online from your house, as long as it's not expired. So there's no need to come in and to do that. But they did work renewals in addition to if need be. So possible, but,
Right.
just don't let it expire and you can do it from your house.
Oh, I better go ahead and have
Yep,
it.
no. Yeah.
I just renewed mine this summer, and it's all done online.
Right.
There's no reason to go anywhere. The
Seamless.
problem is, it doesn't necessarily happen quickly. Very, very sporadic. Some people get renewed within 2 or 3 days, and some it takes 3 months.
And they were saying that within 3 days, you should have an email with the approvals from the event that we hosted. But they did say sometimes there's some people that take maybe days, but the vast majority is about 3 days.
All right, thanks, Mark. Brian, we have the Hilton Head Airport Improvement Committee, and just for the record, we focus on the general aviation side of the airport, not the commercial side of the airport. So Brian had a committee meeting.
So we had a committee meeting recently for the first time in a long time, and since it had been such a long time, we were putting together a list of items that we think will be helpful to eventually present for action items. And I want to particularly thank Chris Butler, because Chris has a whole sort of mapping out of how things are done over at ARW, and I think it would be helpful to use that model that you're using over there to help us at Hilton Head for the GA side airport. We spend a lot of time talking about the terminal side, but we have a lot of people on the other side of the runway that we never hear from. So more to follow on that.
Okay, keep us in suspense. And Ann, we just had a brief committee meeting here.
We did?
Leslie wants to know what the committee is.
Okay, what we're trying to do, we're focusing on promoting the airport and heritage together. And we've had a lot of ideas this morning. John and I worked with Steve Wilmot about 2 weeks ago. So everybody on both sides are very supportive and anxious and willing to help. One thing, though, we are going to need money and sponsors and support to put these great ideas forward. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right, we'll hear more of that as we get down the road.
We will.
Excellent. All right, the Finance Committee had no report this month. And I believe Pest and Service Committee and ARW, anything going on that we should know about,
We did
Chris?
not have we did not have a meeting. We'll have a meeting, and I'm assuming that on past years, we didn't, we haven't had a December meeting. We didn't have a lot going on. Every year I've been on the board, we've, not had it. So we're going to do an ARW meeting in January. The big things that we're working on are the hangars, and they needed, John and Steve and Eric needed time to kind of get back to feedback on bringing us back where we're kind of at from the engineering, and going from there. We've been kicking around a lot of ideas about it. We'll reconvene in January before the January meeting, and I'll have a fantastic report for you.
Excellent. Nicely done.
Lots of suspense.
All right, last chance. Any other questions for John, Steve, Eric, while they're here? No, we open the floor again to 3 minutes worth of public comment. Don't have a ton of public today, so I'll assume there's not a lot of public. It's your chance. All right. Having said that, I'll accept, just a reminder that our next meeting is Thursday, December 21st. We're on from Beaufort next month. Please make every effort to attend in person. You get a lot more done when we're here, when we're physically here. And as in the past, if you cannot make it for some reason, please let the office know well in advance, or as much time as you have. Having said that, I'll accept the motion. Wait, we have a final comment from John.
Before you adjourn, just for if you care to vote on the December meeting, at this point, it doesn't appear that we'll bring forward any action items in December. I don't have anything on the horizon that we need a vote on. So take that into consideration as you plan out when your next meeting ought to be. If y'all want to go on Christmas leave, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm working, but y'all might want to go somewhere.
I think it's a tradition, don't meet in December. I think that's been a tradition.
Yeah, I will not have any, as of now, I will not have any action items. If we do, we can always do an email type notification and go from there. So I'll leave that to you.
Right, and we only have, for, legally, what's the advanced public notification for the meeting that we have to do? Is it 7 days? So if we had to get together, it really is just, we need to post that 7 days prior to
As
the
long as we
meeting,
meet the
correct?
FOIA requirements.
Yeah, if something came up that nobody knows about that's coming,
Right.
you know, that still gives us time to, if we had to.
So having heard John's agenda, the chairman will make a decision that says we will forego our December meeting and next meet back in January. That schedule has been posted and sent to everybody. I don't have it in front of me, so everybody will get a reminder. So having said that, I wish everybody happy holiday. We won't get together before then, unless the committees meet, and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We'll give Ann the motion, Leslie the second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.